VC, hello, Dave with you tonight. And I spent about $6 this week on records, and I got about 10 records, and they're not all bad. Most of them are keepers. Some of them are going to end up in my online store. But yeah, I found myself on the south side near Wilson Records. But I thought before I went in there, I'd hit the Goodwill, which is 2 blocks away from there. And I actually found 3 records that were decent. It's 3 for $1 at Goodwill, so I spent a record-breaking $1 in the store, not including tax. First one I had was Chambers Brothers Greatest Hits. I'm not a big fan of Greatest Hits albums, but this is Chambers Brothers. I don't have a lot of their stuff. And this has the actual entire 11-minute version of Time Has Come Today. So yeah, that was good to get that. Next I got Johnny Rivers, another compilation. Golden Hits. This has got everything on it. La Bamba, Midnight Special, Secret Agent Man, one of my favorite Johnny Rivers tracks. And next I've got Tommy Rowe. This is on mono. I don't want to take it out, but yeah, 3 albums for $1. Next I hit the Olsen's Records. First thing I do when I go in there is I hit their new releases to see the bootlegs or the and whatever's new coming out. And then I went into the warehouse and I went right to the dollar bins, because this guy buys collections, and a lot of stuff he just sends straight to the dollar bins. So I hit them, and occasionally I find good stuff, and I don't think this trip was any exception. First up we've got Vanilla Fudge. The beat goes on. Back cover, the photo of Shadow Morton. Inner sleeve is really cool. We've got pictures of the Fudge. Below, small biographies of them. They tell us what they're into. And this is the Tricolor Atco label. The major problem with this album is it's not really that good. It's our second album. They had a great first album with a single that topped the charts, but they let Shadow Morton do his thing, and I guess he tried to make a Art Deco type thing. The first side is it's like a medley of Beatles songs and ragtime stuff, and doesn't make any sense. The second side is kind of reminds me of Revolution Number 9 from the Beatles. I don't know, the album's a mess. Even the members of Vanilla Fudge don't like this album. But if you're a completist, you gotta have it. Back then they were making these glossy albums. It looks like it was like shrink wrap, but the problem with them is they get air bubbles. But yeah, it was $1, so I picked it up. It's actually an upgrade. I have a later pressing of that, which will probably end up in my store. Next I got Quicksilver, Messenger Service, Shady Grove. You've all seen this one before. This is the one with Nicky Hopkins. And basically Nicky Hopkins just takes over the album, and it doesn't really sound anything like Quicksilver. But yeah, let me show you. This is band Nicky Hopkins. Nicky Hopkins was with everybody. The Stones, he played with everybody. And they brought him in for this. I think this is the only album he played on, but it's okay. I don't really care for it. I like the, there are other albums better than this. So, next I got a copy of one of my favorite albums, the Yes album. This was $1. Pretty good. The cover's kind of aged a little bit. But the vinyl is perfect. Vinyl is right on the Atlantic label. One thing about this is the second track on the album is called The Clap. And that's kind of funny, but actually that's a typo. It's a Steve House song. It's the acoustic live track, and he named the song Clap, which was a nickname for his newborn son, because apparently his newborn son liked to clap. So he called the song Clap, and apparently there was a typo or somebody didn't get the memo, but the song went out as The Clap. You know, the venereal disease. But other than that, this may be my favorite Yes album. I have a better copy of this, so this is going to go in my online store. The next we've got, oh my God. Usually when I find Mamas and Papas albums, they're usually greatest hits finds. This is a little different. This is actually a studio album. It's their second album. Always great to find Mamas and the Papas. Now, bear with me for a moment. Mama Cass was in love with Denny Doherty, who was having an affair with Michelle Phillips, who was married to John Phillips, who was allegedly having an affair with his own daughter. Now, yeah, I mean, that's what it was down to. This is back in Laurel Canyon when free love was a thing, back in the 60s and 70s. But yeah, everybody slept with each other back then. Let's see. Oh, the next two are actually Ventures albums that the two that I really wanted to get, I finally found in the dollar bin. The first one is my favorite Ventures album, Ventures in Space. Out of Limits, Penetration, killer album. This isn't, I was trying to pick up the Ventures. This was $1, like everyone. And the last one is the Ventures Super Psychedelics album. Now it says here that it includes a what I thought was a booklet, but there's apparently no booklet in it. It's just the insert, which is pretty cool. Kind of psychedelic. The guys in the late 60s, they cover the Turtles, and they do Strawberry Fields Forever. And yeah, it's a great album. I actually like, though, the Ventures in Space. The Ventures in Space is probably my favorite Ventures album. And yeah, it was pretty good. $6. I got all those albums for $6, so that's a pretty good haul. Half are going to go in my store, and half are going to go in my collection. Actually, the Vanilla Fudge album is probably going to stay in my collection and never leave my collection, if you know what I mean. I'm probably never going to play it, but I like Vanilla Fudge, so I collect everything like you do. And with that, I am going to get out of here, and I hope everybody has a great weekend.